New Northrend map and the jailer returns. Actual leaks or rage bait. I wasn't even gonna watch this, but this is the third video I've seen show up on my feed talking about the jailer coming back. So now I'm starting to think that there's some truth behind it. And now the truth teller himself, Doran, is reporting on it. Oh, you know it's true then. No, really, let's see what this is all about. Are there actual hints here that the jailer is fucking coming back, or is this just Blizzard pulling a fast one on us? Let's see what's going on here.
Midnight is just around the corner and we have a whole bunch of leaks going around. Some are actually legit, like mounts, player housing access that you will get with Midnight in the various editions of the game. And interesting enough, there is a hint that Illyria is becoming a Ranger General, which alters the entire faction dynamics as we know it. However, at the same time, we have some insanely controversial and interesting ones.
Let's be honest, there's no factions in the game anymore. Let's just be, that's just like a literal, this was put into the game code and we can't remove it anymore kind of thing. There's no more factions, come on.
We have a shot of the jailer returning with Zalatat, coming to fill the hole in his chest with potentially the Dark Heart, and we have what appears to be the map of Northrend for the last Titan. The handwriting on the whiteboard is exactly the one Chris Metzen uses, and half of the zones are missing, which could indicate that Northrend is going to be completely different, potentially altered by the arrival of the Titans. Some of these are obviously fake and...
Wait, so they're claiming this is an image from Chris Metzen's, like, war room or something? That's what this is? What?
This video definitely rage bait, but let's look at everything we currently have and know. So this might not be perfect.
Could I imagine Metzen just throwing that shit out there on purpose, like leaking this image out to rage bait people? Generate some conversation? Maybe. Maybe.
For Illidan maxing and seeing demons through walls, but it can really help you sleep as a superpower in itself. To be honest, I really
Mr. GM also advertises this thing.
When Manta Sleep sent me this, as what can a mask like this do? But I was blown away as soon as it arrived. The sound mask not only completely blacks out everything so you can't see any light, but there are also integrated headphones inside, Bluetooth ones. All you do is literally just put it on like this and you will feel like you're not even in present reality. It's crazy comfortable and I don't think there's a better way to nap, and this is just one of the various masks that they have, from weighted ones to steam ones to cold ones. So make sure to use my code Doran to get 10% off your first order and click the link in the description and check out Manta Sleep. So, realistically, leaks are actually becoming a pretty legit problem at this point in time. I mean, back in the day, we actually had some leaked artwork or some behind-the-scenes shots that revealed expansions. For example, the Bolvar artwork that revealed Shadowlands, and it used to happen, but you gotta keep in mind, this was back before 2020. Right now, we got a big problem, which is why I feel like we can never really get fully legitimate leaks anymore, where there are no doubts, and the big problem...
Yeah, AI has certainly changed the leaking game, no doubt. And now I just question everything. I'm like, oh, this is AI generated. This isn't real. Remember when Zaxxas pulled a fast one on everyone and released that AI thing before we got the War Within announcement of what the next expansion was going to be? That was freaking funny. It looked so legit, and it's because you could easily generate anything that looks legit now by using AI.
Of that is obviously AI. I mean, previously, someone would have to go to a crazy amount of work to create a convincing fake leak. Someone actually did that for this expansion, but right now, they can just take a few models or shots and
remember this?
Just kind of run it through AI, then take a screenshot of your monitor to make it appear like it is behind the scenes at Blizzard. Furthermore, we also know the next two expansions, so leaks are not really that mind-boggling. We kind of have the general idea of what is going to come, at least in the World Soul Saga. However, we do have some information we have acquired. A few of them are like 99% BS, almost certainly fake, but interestingly enough to consider, and we have what appears to be a legit leak. This actually happened for multiple expansions by now, about a week or two before the announcement. We got the features of the various editions of the expansion, usually the expansion name, that is how we learned about Dragonflight, and all the things that you can buy with the various editions. So the most legit leak and almost certainly real for Midnight is what you get from the various versions that you buy, and nothing is too crazy. I mean, so far...
No, I think this was real. This was something that was on the servers when they went live about the pre-purchase, items that you're going to get for pre-ordering the different versions of the next expansion. I thought this is certainly a real thing. I think this was real. This was in the game. This was not some internet leak. This was in the actual World of Warcraft game, and it got taken down pretty quickly. So I'm pretty sure this was real, and it did reveal a few things about the expansion, but nothing really that we didn't already know. Like player housing stuff, okay, yeah, that's fine. Some mounts that were very themed to the expansion, yeah, that's fine too. It's cool, but it didn't show us anything new.
It shows the trader standard bonuses, early access.
I don't see a
housing,
jailer tie-in yet.
Honestly expected because they already showed this to us on the roadmap that player housing is going to become before midnight, and generally the things that you get, like all the little features. So none of this is really that hard to believe. So far they presented multiple mounts, pets you're going to get with the additions, beta.
Yeah, Mac, I don't think you should put G Fuel in your coffee. I don't know. You could be having a heart attack soon. You might want to see a doctor. But yeah, you can get 30% off by using my code for sure.
Access for midnight,
Do it.
which seems guaranteed, and a housing bundle to jumpstart your estate once the feature is added to the game. The only kind of shocking thing we got are the decors for the housing, where one of them shows Illyria as the Ranger General.
Yeah, that was
This is actually
cool.
the biggest shocker of all because it might indicate that the Blood Elves are either leaving the Horde, becoming neutral, or Illyria is joining the Horde. See,
Illyria is not joining the Horde, and the Blood Elves are not joining the Alliance. It's a neutrality thing. That's what's happening. Silvermoon's going to be the hub city for the Midnight Expansion. I calls it like I sees it right now. If you're watching this on YouTube, we're going to be getting the reveal in a couple hours, and I'm probably live on Twitch right now. But the thing is, the hub city of Silvermoon is going to be a neutral site. It's going to be completely rebuilt. And the elves are all coming together. We already know that part of the story. That's already been revealed to us. All the elves come into Silvermoon. Illyria becoming the Ranger General does not mean that she's joining the Horde. It just means the neutrality of the elves is a big thing. They're just cross-factioning all over the place at this point. That's what that is.
at the moment, Blood Elves are a Horde race. Illyria is an Alliance character, but the leaked decor shows her as a Ranger General. Now, some people here are saying this might be a look into the past because she was a Ranger General back in the day, but that is not the case because she was never a Ranger General. She was supposed to become a Ranger General, but really, she was a Ranger Captain. So this new image showing her as a Ranger General, which is one of the biggest positions within Quote.
Also, I hope we get High Elves. Yeah, playable High Elves. Do it.
Last strongly hints that she is one right now.
Not the
and
customization
is an
version we have now
character
with Void Elves.
leading one of the Horde races. This ties in with the Elven reunion they talked about for Midnight, so it makes sense that the Blood Elves might become like a neutral race akin to the Pandaren. So based on this very mid-league season, this is pretty much the most legit information we had gotten so far, combined with some potential Northron zone and playable Amani, but is more like 50-50 to be completely honest. However, we have gotten some interesting things in the community which do seem like complete BS, but there could be some grain of truth. There is something oddly suspicious about it. So the first one is the biggest rage bait I think we ever gotten, and that is the return of our beloved guy Zovaal.
There's no way.
Someone showed an image of Blizzard Entertainment Presents, like the start of a cinematic with Zovaal laying around like...
There's no way. Okay, if they do this, all right, this is not real. We already got, by the way, cinematic, not a leak, but a pre-cinematic release from Blizzard. It's right here. We got images. It's clearly an image of Lorthamar with Xal'atath in front of him, right? That's pretty obvious here. This one that is being shown right now, this is fucking AI slop. That's what this is. This is bullshit. The only way I could see Blizzard actually showing the jailer is that his final line was, "A cosmos divided cannot stop what is to come," right? And I always say it, don't forget the jailer's last words were "come," okay? But I digress. The main thing is, he was probably talking about the Void. That's probably what he was talking about. And if you want to tie in the jailer's final line to the Void right now, fine, to like justify the jailer's existence and all that shit, whatever. I think that's a stupid move. But if you were gonna do that, that's the only way I see this happening. Otherwise, I think this is fake.
Like sitting completely broken in the dark room with this giant hole in his chest, which actually happened. He is deactivated.
Also, this is a much more Giga Chad version of Zovaal. Look at that chin. Look at that. My God. Look at that, chiseled.
Actually happen, he is deactivated, and then Zalatat appears in the background like she's going to put the Dark Heart or something in his chest to actually restart him. Now, this plays a little bit into the legit thing because he did end on a cliffhanger. He really does have a hole in his chest. He is deactivated, so just laying around. And Zalatat is wielding an artifact called the Dark Heart, which could technically fit into a chest hole.
Sure.
Furthermore, oddly suspicious enough.
So Zalatat's gonna come fill our holes? Is that what she's gonna do? That's already happened. It feels like it has, at least. This is crazy. Zalatat going to the realm of death? Who even says she has access there? I mean, I know we went there, but now she's gonna go to the death realm and reanimate Zovaal? The shit?
A few days back, we data mined a new mount coming exclusively to China, which is actually a recolor of the mount that you would get from the jail.
Oh no. Is this really going to happen? Oh my god, it is. This is definitely a void version of the Shadowlands mount. Wasn't this the mythic mount you got from Mythic Zovaal? Shit. Blizzard, don't. Please don't. Come on. We're going to do this right now. We're gonna try to justify Zovaal's existence with this shit. Shadowlands remix confirmed. God.
Actually, a recolor of the mount that you would get from the Jailer Mythic, and there is some text about the first ones, like this is 100% confirmed information. However, the reason I think this is so unlikely is I don't think Blizzard is dumb enough to bring this guy back. Like,
yeah,
the whole
there's
premise
no way.
of this leak really seems like rage bait. Blizzard acknowledged multiple.
Like, even if this was the original plan, they would have jumped ship on. Metzen would have jumped ship on this for sure. You do not bring back one of your most controversial villains as the lead off to your expansion that's supposed to bring you back to the regular WoW story, right? It's supposed to bring everything back around. We're going back to the old ways, boys. Metzen's back. You're going to try to make Metzen pull the Jailer into this freaking storyline right now? Oh my god.
Multiple times that he was a terrible villain. They attempted to distance themselves from this guy as much as possible. And I really don't think Zalatat and the entire Dark Heart being used just to revive this guy, like the entire storyline being all this just to revive Zovaal and make him a main character again, is really a good move. Blizzard has made a ton of mistakes, but I think they're self-aware enough to not do something like this. Yeah. Furthermore, the leak is really well done. It does appear like a cinematic, but let's be real, as I said earlier, with AI, it is possible, like totally possible to make fake things like this. It's not even questionable. I mean, you just get the Jailer model.
This is not real. Blizzard released a freaking image, like I said, and it looks like it's where that image or where that cinematic's taking place is within the Sunwell. So I highly doubt that they're gonna have two separate locations like this within the cinematic.
You prompts and you can do something like this. So while there is an odd chance that this could be real, I'm like 99% certain that this is rage bait and not something worth talking about. On the other hand, we have a leak that is not actually a midnight leak, but instead the Last Titan leak, which could make sense because based on the timeline that we know about Blizzard, the Last Titan by this point is probably deep in development. Now, the map itself actually... If
this cinematic's for the Last Titan, again, come on. Don't do it, Blizzard. Don't do it.
Does seem like rage bait as well. The only difference...
Okay, so what's supposed to be on here? What is this? This is supposed to be Metzen's dry erase board. Stormy Peaks, Vordrasil, Dragonbite, Valdraken Accord, Awakened, Argent Crusade, Ice Crown. That would be cool. Earthen Ring. Okay, Sholazar, and then the Nexus. Where is the Jailer hint here? I don't see it.
Is that someone actually went through a lot of effort on this?
I do see a redrawing of stuff.
AI. The main argument for this map is the fact that it seems to be drawn on a whiteboard, and the writing on the board looks exactly like Chris Metzen's writing. If the leak is fake, someone went through the effort to find things that Chris Metzen signed or had written, and he decided to copy his handwriting exactly, which is actually quite a bit more effort than AI, but the map itself is...
I think AI could totally generate this at this point. It's gotten so good at it. Yeah, I don't know.
Actually really weird when you look at it. I've talked about this multiple times by this point, but with Quotalas being enlarged and potentially with 1 or 2 new zones coming in this expansion, it is almost certain that Northrend is getting the same treatment, especially with the recent info on some new zones, especially under Northrend. So the map of Northrend in the Last Titan is going to look quite a bit different, like that is 100% expected.
Sure.
And it certainly won't be the same thing we saw back in Wrath with just updated models. However, this map looks...
AI still sucks at handwriting. It does, and you look for like those blurred or weird overlapping letters, stuff like that. I don't see any of that here. So, is it real? I don't know. I don't know. But would it be shocking to me if Blizzard does kind of redo the zoning in Icecrown, because this zone, it's going to be bigger. I think even the northern part of the Eastern Kingdoms is about to get bigger with the remodel they're doing of it for Midnight, because of strictly just because of the flying dynamics that we have now. So is it real? I don't know. You guys let me know what you think. I don't know.
Drastically different. I mean, first is it's literally missing a few zones like Grizzly Hills and Howling Fjord, potentially even the entirety of Zuldrak, Porian
Now, getting rid of Grizzly Hills would be a bad choice, though, because that's a player favorite for sure.
Also doesn't seem to be a thing, so we're missing like nearly half of the continent. It does appear that the Nexus is still there, just drifted away, and Vordrasil, the World Tree, is apparently still there with some small islands around it. This butchered Northrend doesn't seem like something that would get people crazy excited, especially since Howling Fjord and Grizzly Hills are one of the most popular zones within the community, but it could actually make sense realistically. I mean, we are told that we're coming to Northrend, not really as an expedition to fight the Lich.
Yeah, should bring back Sargeras and Illidan on a leash. I think the Sargeras Illidan comeback would be cool. It would be. Like two enemies, you know, working together. They've been talking for a while. They both realize, hey, maybe we can align here and defeat the Void or something, like some kind of crazy shit like that. I think would be a cool moment in the game. Now, it's not a redemption arc for Sargeras. He's still fucked up for what he's done, but it would be kind of a cool moment to see.
King, but this is like a cataclysm, like a worldwide catastrophe event that we're in the middle of, and
play the Sargeras cinematic in reverse.
Crash into this place, so their arrival could potentially blow up half the continent
Stockholm
to make
syndrome,
it quite a bit different. It appears that with the green lines, that the Icecrown is the main area, and this is something I talked about before because there is Azerite, there is something definitely related to the World Soul under there. There are those drills that the Jailer used, so this is legit, like this actually feature of Icecrown and being the main zone. Furthermore, the text also kind of makes sense. I mean, it appears the dragons are coming to the Negablight from the Dragon Isles. Traegar and the so-called Awakened are in Ulduar, which makes sense because we know the Earthen are there. Something is definitely going to be happening with all these Titan Forged minions. So there could be some legitimacy to this. They might actually expand Icecrown and Stormpeaks with some underground zones in between, and the isles around Vordrasil could be what remains of those zones from the impact. So compared to the Jailer one, this one is actually very intriguing. I mean, it is worth talking about. It is definitely sort of a rage bait, but not completely. It is also possible that this is an unfinished map, so it might look something like this. Some zones might get removed, some added, so this could be early stage stuff. However, usually the trend is that Blizzard is trying to appease and cater to the nostalgia, and I think something drastic like removing half of Northrend that people love, especially zones like Grizzly Hills, would be quite an unpopular decision.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
Overall, just based on this map, I don't think it is as fake as the Jailer one, which is almost certainly AI, and there is potential that this could be some pre-planning stage, early stage map of the Last Titan, but honestly, nothing really confirms it other than the handwriting being exactly the one as Chris Metzen would use. So overall, not a crazy league season so far for Midnight, but we do have some legit interesting information. Thank you for watching. Check out what is Xal'atath's actual end goal by clicking on the screen, and check out my video on the Roman Empire that I've recorded live on site in Malta by clicking on the screen as well. See you next time.
Yeah, interesting indeed. Is the Jailer coming back? I would say I hope not. I hope not. If he does, it looks like this play is supposed to be, oh, he comes back in the Last Titan, Dark Heart, shit goes down. Okay, I just hope not. His last line is the only way I can see a connection of relevance here, and I hope Blizzard just forgets about it and moves on from it, and I don't think Metzen would want to pull this in. This was not his lore, and I highly doubt he wants to make it part of his lore. So, fingers crossed, the bald man doesn't return. That is all for this video. Nice one from Doran.